Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is your friendly neighborhood Meta here, and today I am joined by one of my good co-hosts, Mr. Blinded Braille, and a special guest today for today's episode. I almost did that perfectly. We got DL joining us. We got DL joining us for this special review that we're doing. How are you doing today, man?
Jello, everybody. I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
How did I know you were going to do that? How did I know you were going to do Jello today?
Jello.
Oh man.
But yeah, we're special review today. We're talking about Twisted Metal, the new PlayStation-based series from Peacock. And Peacock. I think I speak for all of us when I say we were all genuinely surprised with the quality of this show.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, yes.
I think I'll do this. Go around the room real quick and ask, what's your? Do y'all have any history with Twisted Metal? I'll just say I don't. Like, that's a series that I have never touched. I've known of it, but I just never touched it because it was just Demolition Derby game, and I didn't really care for it. But after this, I bought Twisted Metal 1 and 2 on the PlayStation Store. I have Black already, so I'm gonna go through those. But yeah, I'll start with Mr. DL. What do you have any experience with Twisted Metal as a series at all?
No, not at all. And I'm actually kind of surprised to hear that you guys haven't played the game, because I thought that was the reason why you guys wanted to review this, because you guys played this before and you have history with it. But
well, I mean, it's more that like this is a game show, and it's a show based on a video game, and we talk about all things video games. So it's kind of a cheat code in a way that we get to talk about like other media that is gaming related, but it's not actually a game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got you. But yeah, I have zero history with this game. I did quick research on it. I watched some gameplay on YouTube to see what it actually was, and yeah, you're right. It's kind of like a mixture of Mad Max meets Death Race meets Battle Royale, which it does. I'm kind of curious to pick it up myself because it looks like a fun like arcade-ish game. Whenever I get a PS5, because I'm still trying to work on that. Whenever I get a PS5 or
they're on sale right now, man.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get me one, but like I might pick up the game. Might pick it up, see how it is. But yeah, this is the first time hearing about it. Was this Peacock show? Yeah, I saw the trailers for it, and I was like, "This looks terrible. This looks like one of the worst. This is one of the worst marketing I've ever seen for a show. It looks so bad." But yeah, later on I found out it was based on a game, and I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." Would you say that this game is niche? Like now?
No, it's not niche. No,
I have not heard this game at all. Like people talking about it.
It sort of died away. That's the problem. It died off.
It's one of those PlayStation. It's one of those PlayStation IPs that it died off way. Like PS3 was the last time they received a game.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Twisted. Yeah, I did some research. I watched some documentaries, and I did end up playing Twisted Metal Black, which is a fucking extremely hard game. This is not these games are not arcadey games. I think that's a misconception. I think the best way to describe it is like it's like a driving game that's also kind of like a fighting game. It's really weird. Like I was kind of shocked. Like I looked at the original 1 and 2, and yeah, and then I was also doing some research about it and just the way that it was designed, and obviously, David Jaffe, the creator, he's on YouTube, and so he talks about it a lot.
He's a fucking nut now, but he used to be a good game designer.
I don't know if he's a good game designer. I mean, the history with him is very interesting. Like, he made Twisted Metal when he was 24.
Oh shit!
So
He was younger than me. Oh god.
yeah. And it was like he did it remotely, like directed the game, and Sony thought the game was going to bomb, but it turned out to be one of their biggest successes at the time because remember, this is when Sony was just entering the gaming market.
Yeah, PlayStation
So
1, PlayStation Twisted Metal was one of the PS1's first games, and this is back when
yes.
they had the this is back before they had the small cases for them. These were like it's in like they show it in the first episode.
And the first
original
episode.
case, the case for it was that big, like ridiculously honky
Chunky
case.
looking thing. Yeah, it looks terrible looking back, yeah. But yeah, this series is really weird. Like there's so many, like there's the kid spin-off game where they're like remote cars. It's really weird. And then you have Twisted Metal Black, which is like supposed to be really edgy. And then you have the reboot that bombed because the online was not getting updated, and so everybody just dropped the game. Twisted Metal as a series just has a weird history, despite it selling decently until obviously the reboot.
And of course, like
yeah.
I mean, even I know this game wasn't a success in and of itself, but PlayStation All Stars, one of the main figures was Sweet Tooth because he's kind of like the mascot of. He is the mascot of Twisted Metal. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
This is blowing my mind. I didn't.
And
even
actually,
know
now that you say that, Braille, because I didn't know that David Jaffe did. Like, I knew he had a hand in the reboot, but I didn't know he created Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
So now it's making sense. Like, so that means that Twisted Metal was more than likely his gateway to PlayStation when he pitched God of War.
Yeah, you have to look at the history of this game because he's like bouncing around a lot, and it's kind of interesting because David Jaffe isn't, at least in his beginning of his career, he wasn't a traditional director where he was overseeing everything. He was in the studio. He actually was a remote director. So all his ideas, he was the one that wrote the story. Even in the first Twisted Metal, they actually cut out like cutscenes that he directed, and it was kind of like a movie. It's interesting. This show has nothing to do with the first game because it's setting up the first game, which I thought was really interesting, but we'll get into that. Yeah. Yes, it's technically a prequel, which I was surprised by, but yeah.
Yeah, so they're literally doing what Mortal Kombat 2021 did.
But,
yeah.
I don't have a problem with the Mortal Kombat movie, but that's a whole other like. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is similar to that because like in Mortal Kombat 2, we're actually going to get the tournament and Shao Kahn and all the stuff we're used to. But again, this was also set up, I think, really well for Twisted Metal. Again,
yes.
Like, and so like let's dive into the casting because with the writer's strikes going on now, this show is actually a perfect example of what people are talking about. I do hope this show gets a season 2, by the way. But so we have Anthony Mackie as John Doe, who I think I found out at least through the 3 games that I have, John Doe as a character is in Twisted Metal Black, but he's not in Twisted Metal 1 or 2. I think the car is. The car is,
yes. Roadkill is,
but I don't think that he is the driver in Twisted Metal 1. Let me do a quick.
You're probably right. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because there is a character called what's his name, Calypso in the first game.
Yes.
Would that make sense for Calypso to be in this show?
Calypso was in this show.
Calypso was in the show.
Was he?
Briefly.
Okay.
You don't see him, but when they go to pick up the package, they're picking it up from Calypso.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and if you see in the show, there's actually on highways they actually have
Calypso's
references. Real. Yeah, because this is a part of the game where he is the one who puts together the tournament, and he is. I guess the best way to describe it is he's like some god or something. It's really weird. The lore,
the actual like story of Twisted Metal. And I don't think this is going to be a spoiler because I don't think they're actually going to go down this rabbit hole with it. But like there's demons in the first game. There's demons like straight up from hell in this game. Yes.
Remember,
Dave Jaffe did this with a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's actually, I don't even know if he did drugs. I think the co-director said he's really fucked up in the head. So I was like,
Or
okay,
that.
that's insane.
I guess that explains.
So he's just a sociopath then. Got it.
Yeah, because if you see Twisted Metal Black, it's really fucked up what he wanted to do. Holy shit. It's another story.
Stuff that we can't say on a program like this, right?
Yeah, and oh man, the thing is, this show definitely changes a lot of the lore, but it's okay because there's no way in hell they would have put that in a TV show. It just wouldn't fly. Like it's crazy that it's in the game, right?
Even
So
the stuff that's already in the show, that's kind of fucked up.
yes, like the
these
whole
games are
Sweet Tooth
Oh,
origin
yeah.
was completely changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even that origin they put in the show was fucked up.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm like,
Yeah.
it gets worse than that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Very
yes.
much so, yes.
Okay.
And so this is like I looked up his wiki. It says John, yeah, and this is actually like so this is his Twisted Metal like game origin, but it's sort of similar. John Doe can't remember who he is, what he did, or whom he did it to. The only thing he knows is that his body is covered in tattoos that could possibly reveal the past to him, but it doesn't help much. John sometimes suffers from the fury of being lost in his own existence. One day he's going to discover the truth, but will he like what he finds? That's right. From the Twisted Metal Black instruction manual.
So there's no tattoos on him.
Well, no, right. So that's what Braille said. They changed his origin, but when you look at the actual like model, I can see why they got Anthony Mackie to play him.
Yeah, even though it's a white guy, he kind of looks like that could have been a white guy. Yeah, it's a white guy.
What the fuck?
I know.
Of course they got a race swap.
I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind, but yeah, sorry.
I don't mind either. But that was the first thing that.
Go ahead, yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, that was the first thing that shocked me when I saw the trailers for this. I'm like, why is Anthony Mackie in here? Why the heck is Anthony Mackie in this stupid ass show? Did he not get much work from Marvel? Apparently not.
No, because Captain America is taking forever and a day to make.
But
I guess so.
But here's the thing: by the end of the show, this might be an insane take, but I think this was actually his like better performances. This was definitely better than him as Falcon. Like I haven't seen him do comedy before, and he's obviously the character's unhinged, but sometimes you can't really tell. And I think he pulls it off really well, where it's like, oh yeah, he's this man child, but he kind of isn't. And so it was kind of funny, and I just liked him in the show, which was surprising. I mean, they gave him a lot of some emotional stuff, which you would assume would be weird for a show that's like, it's kind of like, Zombieland and Deadpool with that tone where it's like kind of corny, kind of cheesy, but it ends up kind of working even if it is a little bit derivative, just because the characters are actually interesting, which was surprising to me. I was like, I was not expecting that at all.
I agree with you. I do think that this is probably the most entertaining I've seen Anthony Mackie be in a role. I will say it. I think for most of the characters in this, like starting off, I was getting a little nervous. It felt a little clunky, and like there's some laughably bad dialogue that they give to everybody. But I'm like, as the show went on, like you're right, like he just gets more and more entertaining. He actually has some legit funny moments. He has really good chemistry with Quiet as well, and even with Sweet Tooth as well. So yeah, I thought he was really good too.
Like Anthony Mackie surprised me with how good he was in this. But I am a fan of him. I am a fan of Anthony Mackie. I didn't see Carbon Black though.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
Me neither.
But I mean, he is the star. But there are other stars like his co-star. I can never remember her name, but I know that she plays Rosa on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Stephanie. I don't want to mispronounce this name.
Hold on.
Beatrice.
Yeah, Stephanie Beatrice.
Yeah.
Yeah. She is, and this is the thing. Like she obviously knows how to do comedy because again, she plays Rosa on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and objectively, I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine is one of the funniest shows put on television, at least currently. So she's used to being that like deadpan kind of asshole character anyway, and that's kind of what Quiet is at first. Looking at her origin with her brother, who that's another funny thing. So in the show, his name is Loud.
Oh
Loud
boy.
and quiet.
Loud and quiet. Look at that.
But like seeing also like what they went through, the hell that they actually went through, and also just like how society got even more fucked up in this world.
Right.
I mean, God, the apocalypse started in like I'm gonna assume like 2003. That looked like it was 2003 in the flashback. So that's a pretty rough year for the world to go to shit.
Yeah, it's like it felt some influences from Escape from New York, except in reverse. Like instead of locking all the prisoners in the city, they have all the prisoners outside the city, and they keep the civilization inside. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of fascinating.
Yeah. So I can't seem to find them as characters in the game. I'm looking right now to see if they are.
They're not in the game. There is a theory.
Characters.
Yes, there is a theory though that Quiet is I think her name is Shadow, but Shadow I think is also Raven. So they might have.
So that's the thing that I didn't realize, and we're gonna get to this in just a moment. But Nevi Campbell, the person that played the mayor of
yes,
she's Raven.
Yes,
Yeah.
but the way that they're doing it, because Raven and Shadow were, I think Shadow might have been in the first game, and then she eventually becomes Raven. So I think they just took the character and split it into two characters, because that's what I was seeing some people say.
Shadow is the vehicle.
The Shadow is the vehicle. Okay, then.
Shadow is the vehicle. And
I did see somewhere
that's
that. Right. Yeah, I don't remember where I saw that, but there was some speculation because they don't actually give her name, right? Remember, he names her Quiet, and so that's why people had that. I don't know where that theory came from, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but the pink hearse, the pink hearse that her and her brother are getting away in the beginning, that is Shadow.
Right.
That becomes Shadow, I should say. I haven't looked all this shit up because I don't know Twisted Metal like that. But yeah, I think she did a fantastic job, and the back and forth between her and Anthony Mackie was delightful. And I do think I hate though that I kind of predicted this shows how like Hollywood is predictable now, because like every time there's a male and female team up, something is going to go down more than likely.
Yeah, especially at first when they're like, I hate you, I can't stand you, you're so annoying.
It's predictable as all hell, but honestly, this time it was very, very funny with how they went about that.
Yeah, for sure. Liked how it was cringe in certain moments, but a lot of time I kind of liked how the wacky, insane like tone of this show. Like it somehow comes around after it feels like very strange and like kind of bad, and then it just comes around and be like, oh, you know what, that was kind of funny, or that was kind of charming how they did it. It's so weird.
the chemistry that they shared on screen, like the part where they're at the restaurant and they're like just talking and like getting to know each other by playing cornhole before playing the other type of cornhole in the ball pit.
In the ball pit.
The ball pit twice. I'm like, oh my god.
Get some. That's a new definition for blue balls. But
no, man.
But and they even made that joke in the show. But
yes,
I thought that was sweet. Like Anthony Mackie thought that ghost ships were real, and John thought ghost ships were real. And Quiet's like, no, they're not, you dumbass. Like, yes, they are. Like that was just really sweet. And so so she was fantastic. And then of course I am looking forward to this. So I am gonna save the main man for last. I'm gonna skip him for right now because it's just awesome. Anyway, let's talk about the villain, because I think this is another race swap, and I can't tell. Agent Stone is played by Thomas Hayden Church.
Sandman.
I didn't even realize that was him at first. I didn't realize that was him. I was like, wait a minute. When I found out, I was like, really? Agent Stone is a character from Twisted Metal Black, and I think he is also a race swap. I
don't think he's a race swap.
He looks black
from what I
here.
remember.
So they made a white guy black and a black guy white.
Now you don't see that a lot of times that a black person gets swapped for a white person.
Oh yeah, no, he's black. Braille.
I'm he's black.
Okay. He's black. He's black.
All right.
But that's fine though, because this works. Like how they made him in the show works. So let's see.
Oh, wow, that is. I'm looking at it in Twisted Metal Black. Wow, that looks terrible. He doesn't even look like a black guy. I mean, in the flashbacks, he does, but not in the home screen. That's weird.
Yeah, Thomas, and I will say this right now. We are gonna do spoilers. So I don't think we've really done spoilers yet, but I'm gonna say this right now. After this moment forward, spoilers.
I mean, if you count them having sex in the ball pit a spoiler, I'm sorry.
That's not. If anything, you should be asking me, where is that at? Where is that located?
Oh man!
And I may leave a timestamp in the comments below. I may, if I feel like it. So, because they do it twice, so I have to put 2 different timestamps. Anyway, back to Thomas Hayden Church as Agent Stone. He was delightful. He was so good.
He was.
And I think, like, 'cause here's the thing, right? Like, I'm going to go into the origin, honestly, because the origin is actually, I felt kind of bad for him a bit. Because he's an earnest guy that just wants to do good. He wants to be a good cop, but everyone kept giving him shit because he's a mall cop at the beginning. Like, he even took shit from 2 teenagers that had a thing of cigarettes. And I'm like, bruh, like, that's just no respect at all for this man. But of course, things get, because in the first couple episodes, they talk about him stopping these terrorists single-handedly, and that's kind of mentioned a lot. And then they show what actually happened, and Jesus, he again, spoilers. Homeboy killed a child.
Yeah.
He killed a fucking child, and then that like mentally like fucked him up. That mentally just ruined him, and so to where he runs like a terrorist group, not terrorist group, but like a group that's supposed to be about law and order, but it's his version of law and order.
Again, everybody tragic backstories in this show.
This is a very fucked up. This is a very fucked up series. They all have to have They all have to.
Well, it's like that in the game.
Yeah, so, it is.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm like, this is straight up anime right here.
Shit. Like, this would be nuts as an anime. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
I can see it as an insane anime, bro.
Like, on the level of, honestly, with how insane this world is, I can see this on the level of like Hellsing, in terms of gore and just like brutal as hell. These dialogue. Let me see. So, yeah, basically, like, his whole thing is he wants to try to bring law and order to the divided states of America, or whatever he called it. And so he makes the Hoover Dam his westward base of operations, and his home in Topeka. It's hot in Topeka. he makes that his main HQ. What did y'all think of Agent Stone as a villain? I'll start with you first, bro. What did you think of Thomas Hayden Church's performance?
I mean, you pretty much like nailed down the head. He had a very compelling backstory, even if it was a little corny, but it was messed up at the same time. And he just is like bitter. He's just like a bitter for absolutely no reason. Never really learned his lesson properly. And it was nice seeing. Oh man, now I forget the actor. Thomas
Hayden Church.
Yeah, right. It was nice seeing him, and because I haven't seen him recently, so I was like, oh wow, okay.
Let me see real quick. the shit he's been in.
Is
So,
the last
like-
thing he's been in is the last thing he's been in No Way Home?
No. Well, he was in No Way Home, of course, but he did a
Right.
this. I think it's a movie or a series. I think it's a series called Divorce, and that ended in
Right.
2019.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's been in a few things.
Right.
Since then.
Nothing that I've watched is my point.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Here we go. Yeah. So this year alone, he's done Twisted Metal, and he's done another TV series called Fired on Mars. He also
Right.
has something out coming. What the fuck is this? It's called Chocolate Lizards.
Damn.
That sounds like some A24 shit.
It probably is. Let's see. What's the poster? Let me
Or
see that
some
poster.
art house stuff, whatever.
Anyway, like, yeah, so basically Thomas has gotten work recently. He's not going. It's just that I will say his filmography, like his credits, like are all over the place. He's one of those. He's one of those that will do TV but also do movies. So he's just all over the place, and that's okay. But I did think, yeah, he was a great villain in this. What did you think, DL?
Yeah, I thought he was a really solid villain. I think that backstory they gave for him really enhanced him, because like before then I was like, I mean, he's Thomas Hayden Church was doing good, but it's like it's the typical like stoic, intimidating cop that that's by the book and stuff like that. But like I think that backstory really like had me really like be invested in like his character a lot more, like seeing where his mindset is. So yeah, I thought he was pretty good as far as performance. I love Thomas Hayden Church. I think he's very good. So I'm also glad to see him again, because like there, I haven't seen a lot of stuff he's done outside of Spider-Man. So it's nice to see him.
He will forever be the perfectly casted Flint Marko.
Honestly, yes.
He was perfectly casted as that. But what I also loved about Stone is that not only was he like this very serious stoic villain, but he did have very funny moments. Like the joke, it was like the running joke about him, like making the joke about like how these like, oh, you two people, you need to stop like horsing around and making out and stuff and get back to work. And he's like, but we're brother and sister.
Or they'll be like I forget what scene it was, but like when they had those two guys like do the sniper thing, and then like he would intimidate them, being like, don't let it happen again. And then right after that, it's like, you guys hungry? You guys want a burger? I'm like, I like those little tiny moments of levity right after he's like being really serious.
Bro,
scary.
that was like so that this is gonna be such a weird like thing, like, as a tangent, but like it reminded me of if you watch wrestling, like how Roman Reigns has been with Jimmy and Jay. Like he was given that serious like, you guys keep letting me down and disappointing me after disappointment and disappointment. And then like, after a little bit, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have yelled at you. You want me to get you some food? It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's exactly that.
Because what he tells him is that he says, it's all right, it's a rookie mistake. We all make it. Just don't do it again. You guys hungry?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mike and Stu.
Mike and Stu, who are characters from the game.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Those are characters from the game. They did do another. Well, no, they didn't really do a race swap for them, but it's.
Yeah, they didn't do a race swap, but it seems like at the ending,
yeah, we can talk about it because it's spoilers, but
yeah, because I think that also is important, because in the first game there wasn't Mike and Stu, it was Mike and David, so that might be a setup.
When Twisted Metal 2, it's
yeah, in Twisted Metal 2, it's Mike and Stu. Yeah.
But they also just look different. Like if they are who they are in the show, Stu he looks just like a straight up redneck. Like they made him look like he's a good old country boy, and they gave Mike the biggest fro and a pair of like star glasses.
Yes, yeah,
and a fucking mustache. Like,
yeah, it
almost looks racist, like a racist caricature. It's how bad this looks.
Yeah, it's just
so
man,
bad.
It was the 90s, man.
It was the 90s. It's always the excuse of it was the time period.
Yeah.
Yeah, like different time.
Well, I think that's it. Like, let's talk about them for a moment. The duo of Mike and Stu. So you have I'm gonna make sure I get their names right. So for Stu, you have Mike Mitchell, and then for Stu, you have Mike Mitchell. That's funny. For Stu, it's Mike Mitchell, and then for Mike, it's Taj Vaughn. Fuck my life.
Vaughns. I'm looking at it right now.
Vaughans. Vaughns. Yeah, I think Taj Vaughns.
Right.
What did y'all think of them as Mike and Stu as characters?
They were pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, they were fine. They were trying to do something like it's weird because I predicted their arc from a mile away. Stu is the more timid one. He's the nicer guy. He doesn't want to get his hands dirty as much. But then Mike is, Stu is the one that's like that. And then Mike's the one that will get the job done. He's more serious and trying to keep Stu in line because he acts like a doofus sometimes. And then something's gonna happen where Stu doesn't want to kill anybody or whatever, and then he gets in trouble with Agent Stone or whatever, and then Mike sides with Stone, and then there's a falling out with the two. The stuff with Sweet Tooth, I didn't quite expect with that. I thought he was gonna ally with John and Quiet, but that didn't end up happening. He ended up doing stuff with Sweet Tooth, which I didn't expect. But that was kind of interesting. But as far as them as characters themselves, I think they should have spent a little more time developing their friendship. We did see a couple of flashbacks, but it didn't set up that much context. So they were fine. They were fine. They felt like the most bumbling out of all the characters in the show, to be honest with you. But they weren't really bad, I guess.
Okay. What about you, bro?
Yeah. I agree with DL. They were serviceable. They're obviously supporting characters, and they had their back and forth, which was it was kind of funny to see. Yeah, Stu team up with Sweet Tooth, and so yeah, I agree with that. They were just okay. Yeah, the S brothers. Yeah.
S brothers. Okay. Yeah, they were fine. I do okay, DL, did you see that ending post credit scene?
Wait, there's a gosh
yeah.
darn it.
Okay. So yeah, there's an ending post credit scene in the final episode. So basically it cuts to Mike and Stu, and they're like, "Oh, we found Shangri-La. We got it made." And they're talking about
with dolls.
With dolls that are their girlfriends. It's weird. But and then out of nowhere, Sweet Tooth is back. And he looks like he's about to just kill him, and then he just goes "Actually, I have a better idea." And he starts laughing, and they start laughing with him. And then I think he kills Mike. And
was it that?
He killed Mike, and he cut off Stu's. I think he cut off Stu's hand.
Oh, okay.
Or he kidnapped Stu. He straight up kidnapped Stu.
Because I thought it just you see him with the knife, and then he hits someone, and then there's just blood, but you don't see who it was.
I don't know. I don't
remember
they did leave it kind of ambiguous, but we do know that Stu about Mike's fate. But we do know that Stu gets kidnapped by Sweet Tooth.
Right.
Never to be seen again.
Dang.
So moving on from that, there actually was another villain, and we talked about her briefly a moment ago.
Right.
Raven,
played by
the mayor of San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where you were at while the Scream movies were being filmed.
Yeah.
She picked better. She actually picked something better for once.
Oh man.
Damn.
I haven't seen Scream, but yeah.
You both know how I feel about Twisted Metal. Not Twisted Metal. Scream.
Yeah.
Scream.
Yeah. We know. Yeah. You're not a fan of the franchise.
Let's see.
To be honest, even if she was in Scream 5 and 6, I don't think it would have enhanced the movie that much.
All right, so on her game profile, this is the quote from Twisted Metal Black about Raven. Being unconscious is like being in a pitch black room. No doors, no lights, no way out. I could have stayed in there forever. Okay, so so in this game, she is absolutely a goth chick. And might I add, a damn good one.
Goth chick?
Yeah, we're talking about like, and this is early 2000s goth chick too. So they were cooking that special sauce.
Huh. All
Let's
right.
see, so her friends called her Raven because of her fixation with the stalky black bird and also the black leather dress and the black makeup she wears. Raven despises the in crowd at school and disassociates herself as much as possible. But no matter how much she tries to avoid them, they keep picking on her and her small group of friends. Why can't they just leave us alone? One day her friend fell victim to a prank gone awry, and yeah, that's her like motivation for joining the Twisted Metal event so that she can get back at the people that did this. But of course, they completely changed a lot of that for the show.
Like a drastic, like she's a completely different person in this
No, they
show.
may. Well, here's the thing that I think will be interesting because you know that shows and stuff love to do this shit. What if she becomes that person? Like she did have a goth phase, but she thought she grew out of it. But then like something horrid happens, and it brings her back to being the Raven that we know.
Well, then in the game, doesn't Raven like have a friend that dies, and her name's Kelly? Or because there's the bar Kelly in the show, which I thought was a reference to that. So I mean, we don't really get to see the character like all that much. We don't know what, like, we just know she wants to participate in the or she's not even participating, she just wants to do the tournament, right, and have someone on her behalf fight, right? So I don't really know what direction they can take with the character, but I assume there's a lot that hasn't been explored with her. So
yeah, I that's what I'm saying. Like, I hope in this next season, like, we see her slowly become that character.
Right.
That's gonna be really strange though, like, because you see her personality in this show. Like, I don't see anything that will indicate that she'll just turn into this hardcore goth chick. Like,
well, again, like,
well, I mean, like I said, we don't know anything about her besides I don't even know what her role was. I don't think that was like explicitly talked about in the show.
well, she's the leader. She's the leader of New San Francisco, but
right, but it's not like in detail. Right.
No, it's not. But we do know that the town fears her. The entire town is afraid of her. We don't know why. Like, what does she have on the entire town? What power does she hold?
Or like maybe she'll have like those. Maybe they'll show more of her hardcore tendencies in the next season, and maybe in a flashback they could show that maybe when she was younger she was a hardcore goth, and then we could see how she eventually turned into like the head of New San Francisco.
Yeah, New San Fran.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they can do that. I'm not sure. It's just really.
Yeah.
It would just be very strange to see Nev Campbell in goth makeup and whatever. But
see, you say strange.
I mean, I can kind of see
it. You say strange. I say opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, the show's already insane, so I wouldn't really bat an eye.
No, because Nev is actually a gorgeous actress, and her like getting gothed up. Oh, yep.
Also, I mean, this probably doesn't have to do much with it, but like, she's a grown woman. Like,
she's 50.
I mean, yeah, exactly, grown woman. I could see maybe somebody who's a teenager, or maybe like early 20s, going through a phase like that. Do you see a 50-year-old woman doing that?
I'm gonna go ahead and just say what half the internet will say when they see this. I'm not ashamed that I called her mommy.
No, man. Man.
I called her mommy, and I'm not ashamed of it.
Oh my god.
Yo, she could. But here's the thing, though. Like, with how she is now, she doesn't come off as that character, like we just said. Like, she came off as such an aristocratic asshole. And again, we're talking spoilers. So, you know, the whole premise of the story is that John is a milkman, and milkmen deliver packages to the towns, and they get paid with stuff for their cars to help them, you know, keep doing their thing. On his trip to New San Fran to deliver a package, Raven talks to him and says, "Hey, I need you to get me a package for me. If you get it, I'll give you citizenship to New San Fran." And okay, well, where's it at? It's in New Chicago. And we learned that, you know, eastward it's more dangerous than it is westward in the disconnected states or whatever the fuck they call America at this point.
Right, divided states.
Divided
of
states,
America.
disconnected states. I don't.
Divided.
We're no
States of
longer a
America.
union.
Yeah, which is funny because I think that's what it's also called in Death Stranding, which is also a PlayStation game. So yeah.
Oh
yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
What if wait, the PlayStation Cinematic Universe?
No, don't
Oh
you?
man,
No,
Death Stranding.
no.
That would be wild.
That's
I guess.
in the same universe as Twisted Metal.
Oh man, you see Norman Reedus show up with his bike.
Oh,
No, I definitely don't want it after.
John, no.
We could say, oh man.
No, Braille,
Especially
Braille,
after-
hold on. I got it. So John's getting ready for the final battle at the end of one season, and then you just hear Norman Reedus in the background.
Oh
John,
man.
Looks like this is a delivery you can't handle alone.
Oh yeah, he's also.
My God. Can we just stop this right now? Can we just stop this?
He's also a delivery guy. Oh my god.
My God.
Yo, it could work. It could
Oh
work.
my
Look,
god.
I know. I'm lobbying for the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, but there's just roads that we just don't need to cross right now.
Oh
You need to
man.
cross that one more than the Nintendo one.
No.
I actually want to see that now.
Do you want this to cross over with uninspired? I mean unfarted? I mean uninteresting? I mean uncharted?
Definitely not Uncharted, but like now the synergy with Death Stranding, it makes so much
Oh
sense.
my god, it actually makes some sense. Because we don't know.
It's
what
hard
caused the
not
end of
to
the world.
see.
We don't know what caused the end of the world in the Twisted Metal show, and it could be what
Oh
caused
man.
it in Death Stranding. Like,
Dude, that would-
We're going down a rabbit hole.
It sounds so
by Hideo Kojima.
Oh my god. I could see it. Oh my
Ryan just
god.
needs dollar signs.
Jesus.
Be careful what you wish for. That's all I gotta say.
Oh my god. Anyway, but yeah. So back to the premise, real quick. That was great. The delivery. The delivery was so John goes on this journey, meets Quiet, and they go to New Chicago, get the package from Calypso,
Right.
drive it back, and then we find out it was just ice cream.
Yeah,
It
Rocky
was just
Road
all
ice cream,
Rocky
which is
Road
the
ice cream.
shittiest ice cream.
I was so mad. I was so
And that's why I
pissed.
was like, this elitist bitch
Yeah,
risked his life for fucking. And then she didn't even like it.
She didn't even like
yeah.
it.
She
didn't
said he
like
got
it.
my order wrong.
I was like, this bitch. Like, God.
No,
So
man.
basically, Twisted Metal can be summed up as Uber Eats, the ultimate journey.
Yeah.
Like
What the
Postmates.
hell?
Like he just
What?
became Postmates, bruh.
What the actual hell, man?
DoorDash. Like
DoorDash.
John
Oh,
Doe,
man.
DoorDash.
F dash.
Make sure to give me 5 stars on my final run.
Man.
God damn.
Oh my god. That's great. But along the way for John and Quiet's journey, they run into a lot of colorful characters. I'm still saving the best one for last. I'm saving him for last. He's the best
Fair
character
enough.
in the show for me. I want to save him for last. But let's talk about the truckers.
Oh yeah, the truckers, right?
There's 2 references to Twisted Metal in the truckers, and I'm going to pull them up
Well,
right
all
now.
all the characters that had supporting roles, the granny,
Yeah.
Amanda, and I don't remember her girlfriend's name, but they're all
Amber.
characters in the game. Amber, there we go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Amber Rose.
Right, yeah, they're characters
Amber
in
Rose.
the game. Amber
Like,
Rose.
wait, oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she drives the flower car. So
If
yeah.
hold on. For those to quote,
Wait,
my
is
man,
Amber Rose the
Corey-
actual character in the game?
Yes,
No,
I don't know if she's a
no.
character in the game, but the car is in the game. The flower
I
car.
can swear to you guys. Hold on one second.
Did they really name her after the chick, the bald chick in real life?
Oh man, Amber.
Oh yeah. If you don't know, then now you know.
Wow.
So the characters in the game. I just know the cars.
No, Amber Rose is an American model, rapper, and TV person.
Yeah, there's Yeah.
God. Oh, let me see. Actually, I looked up Flower Power because that's the name of her car. Is Flower
Yes.
Power.
Yes.
She's in Twisted Metal 3, which is considered one of the bad games.
Well, I don't know about that one.
Is that Amber? That's another race swap. Folks.
Yeah, I think the show has a lot of race swaps, but
that's fine. It's
so much race swaps. Disney's like, okay, that's a lot.
That's a lot. Well, they race swapped another character too at the ending. That was kind of surprising. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, yes, we're gonna get to that too. That's another thing I want to talk about after we talk about
because that's another big character.
Yes, she's
at the ending. They flash a bunch of big characters. It's like, stay tuned for more.
Yeah, stay tuned for more, man, because they are definitely doing that. I'm trying to remember what her. Damn it, I can't remember what her fucking name is. There's Flower Power, and then there's the other one that's in the
Amanda,
the Gran Turismo car. Yeah.
What was her name? I don't remember. Twister was her car's name.
Thank you. That was it.
Yeah, I think that car was what? Twisted Metal 2?
I'm looking it up now. Yeah, Twisted Metal 2.
Yeah.
Amber Watts. Yeah, she's in Twisted Metal 2. And they definitely made her more because all she has on in Twisted Metal 2 is like a very tight jumpsuit that of course is cut off where it matters. And a helmet on. We don't even see her face. At least not in the ending. You see her face, but anyways, it says Amanda Watts has a deadly obsession with high-speed vehicles. Bored with everyday cars, she always searches for a faster ride. If she wins Twisted Metal, she'll ask Calypso to see her racing past the speed of light. So yeah, that's her goal in the game. But in the show, they made Amanda and Amber a couple, and I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, that worked pretty well.
And by the way, do not mess with Amber because she knows what's that shit called? Not botany. No, yeah, I think it's botany. She knows how to poison people with plants and shit. That was dark. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck what's wrong?
And then all she did was put that one plant on John's arm. I was like, what the fuck?
What is going on right now?
Yeah, the truckers as like Amanda and Amber are both really great characters, but like the truckers as a people were just
was interesting.
They were so interesting and so entertaining.
It was like the city on wheels. that was pretty funny.
That's not a terrible idea. If you can't live in a city, bring the city to you because those U-Hauls, like you can build. I can see you building especially since there's no one on the roads now. You can make like 3 U-Hauls like side by side and have a way to go about them.
It's freaking Mad Max.
Yes, actually, kind of. Yeah. Let me see. Got to get that character pulled up too because that's another one. I don't know who plays her in the show though. I need to find that. But anyway, Amber and Amanda were both characters from the games. And then there was the episode with Bloody Mary.
Right.
John's ex, who in the game is a woman that wears a wedding dress.
Is there a reason?
Bloody Mary is the driver of Spectre in Twisted Metal Black and Twisted Metal Lost. She is the first female driver and has not returned. She's the first female driver of the vehicle and has not returned since then. Oh shit! Well,
on that episode, they had a lot of characters from the game too. Yeah,
it says her wish is to find her one true love. Oh, I didn't know this. Down at the bottom is their wish. So wedding dress? Let me go back to the Bloody Mary real quick. Where'd she go? Bloody Mary, where are you? There we go. Let's see. It says in the game, at least, Mary was the odd girl out during school. Her mom always assured her that she was just a late bloomer, but those pleasantries didn't help much. Her first love was in grade school. Nervously, she told the boy of her feelings for him. She had been working up the courage for months. She pounded her heart and soul in. She poured her heart and soul out to the young boy. His response couldn't have been worse. I wouldn't kiss you in a million years, you ugly fat cow.
Damn.
With a shove, he pushed Mary into a pile of mud. Hurt and outraged, she knew he had to be punished. After that, she was never the same again. Then she went to an asylum.
Wow.
Which I think this is the same asylum they used in the show.
Yes. Is it Blackfield?
Blackfield.
Yeah. Yep.
Dang.
And so, but in the show, she's John's ex, and we find out that John delivered to her town all the time, and she wanted to go with him, but he was like, "No, you can't go with me." Trying to act real cool, like all I have is the road, and all the road has is me. It's like some stupid shit like that. And then she becomes a milkman herself once her town gets destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
That's another fucking character I have to look up now that I keep connecting these characters because they're all like. But yeah, her town got destroyed by the religious folk because of course it did.
Was it the Holy Men or was
the
it
Holy Men burned her town down? I think it's what she says.
Right.
So I need to.
That group was pretty funny too.
Oh, we're gonna get to them next. But yeah, what did y'all think of Bloody Mary? Like how they introduced her as John's ex and all that for that episode.
It was all right.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it just felt like a wrench to throw at, like, you know, to have some drama with John and Quiet.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh God, I love Triangle. Oh, there's gonna be a misunderstanding somewhere, or she's gonna tell her stuff that he did wrong, and then Quiet's gonna be very apprehensive towards John. I'm like, oh my gosh, that backstory that you just read. I honestly wish we had a flashback of that leading up to when she meets John. I probably would have cared about her character a little bit more because I didn't really care about her at all. I'm very honest.
It seemed like a setup character. That I feel like everybody in that episode was like a setup character. It was like, okay, you're gonna see
those
these
that lived,
again.
because didn't some of them die?
Yeah, some of them died, but like Mr. Slam, that's a character who's gonna come back. He was a character in the game, so it's like
That's funny.
Wait, seriously?
yeah, not with the huge cock thing. That was just for the show, but yeah.
Oh, that's even worse. They made that up for the show?
Yeah, they made that up for the show.
I was like, are you?
At least that I'm aware of, so yeah.
That
is the
was
stupidest
funny.
thing I have
No,
ever
no.
seen.
It reminded me of The Boys. Remember that character with the
Oh,
what was it? Was it a living cock? I can't remember.
Wait, what?
Oh, you've never seen The Boys? Okay, never mind. I should have never said that.
I'm like, oh, I got something to look forward to watching The Boys. God damn it.
Yeah, you got a lot to look forward to for The Boys.
I haven't seen The Boys yet either. So.
Oh man, you guys are missing out.
But
don't worry, I'll review it.
but anyway, like, yeah, I think that a lot of those were set up, but didn't Mary die, or is it just like a flesh wound?
It was weird because yeah, she looked like she died, and then at the ending they teased her. So I was like, oh, okay, she's not dead.
Well, all right then.
Is she part of
Maybe she'll have like some makeover or something, like all scarred up.
Oh, if she actually wears like a messed up wedding dress for that one, because she did give off kind of a Harley Quinn vibe. I hate to say that, but
yes,
I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, she totally did.
And if that's her thing to like,
which is weird because I don't think that's the Harley Quinn character, right? Or at least for this game, right?
No.
It's weird.
Wait, there's
It's
a
really
Harley
weird.
character in the game?
I mean, like a Harley Quinn-like character. Yeah, she's at the ending. Dollface.
Dollface.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. That's because that's the big like. That's like one of the biggest bombs in the show.
Yeah, this show, I'm surprised, like, because I knew nothing, and then I looked it up, and I was like, oh wait, this episode sets up something in the future, and you're like, I had no clue, which is kind of cool. Like Sweet Tooth's origin sets up something. It sets up another character, which I was like, oh okay. They did it very subtly. So I was like, that's interesting. We'll get into that after.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I am. Oh shit! Before I almost forgot again. I keep forgetting his name. Who is the actor that played him in the show? Jason. I can never pronounce his last name. Mantzoukas. Jason Mantzoukas. The guy that played the preacher.
Oh.
Okay.
By the way, when that guy showed up, I thought that was like Joe Johnston. You know, the guy who's is it Joe Johnston? Hold on. Who's the guy who plays Spider-Man in the animated movies?
Animated.
Yeah, I know.
Jack Johnson, Jake Johnson.
Jake, yeah, there we go. Sorry.
Jake Johnson. No, it's
Yeah, he kind of looked at him at the side. I was like, wait, he's in the show, and I was like, oh no, that's somebody else.
Yeah, he like the guy they got is I've seen him in Invincible, and I've seen him when I used to watch Big Mouth. He's in Big Mouth.
Okay,
that's what I know. Listen, I watched like 3 seasons, and then I.
So what was his name? What was his name?
Jason.
I need to Google it.
Yeah. I lost it. Oh no, here we go. Jason. I cannot pronounce that last name. Mantzoukas? Jason Mantzoukas?
Sounds about right.
Oh yeah, that's a yeah.
That role, but the way they made the preacher though, like I fucking loved it. Yeah, and his origin isn't that different. He drives a 1964 El Camino called Brimstone. It says though only an evangelicist, preacher travels from town to town in hopes of sharing his religious visions with anyone who will listen. He hopes to eventually gain forgiveness and be allowed back into the Lord's good graces. His tireless pursuit to become ordained has led many, even his followers, to believe that he is actually a fanatic, driven by excessive madness. Whatever enveloped him surely became obvious in a later downfall. And his wish is to remove the demon inside of him to end the Twisted Metal, and in the reboot, it's to end the Twisted Metal contest.
Right. Which I'm sure will play some role in the future.
That may, but I mean, I see him more like because in the show he just seems like he's the leader of a cult. That's really what he was. He was just the leader of a cult that did whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah,
I really think the show is just, if it's successful, which it seems like it is.
It is.
I think they will. They're gonna lean into the crazy shit that happens in the game. They're gonna have to, because it's like that's the one thing I think it's surprisingly missing, even though it's already crazy and weird and zany and dark. It's like the games just get really off the walls. So I'm like, you might as well. I mean, The Boys is popular. The Boys goes pretty off the wall. So yeah.
I saw that it said like, I was gonna say like I saw somewhere that it's like Peacock's highest streamed comedy in a while. So it's very popular. It's very, very popular. This is a success for PlayStation and a success for Peacock. Most definitely. So I do think this will get a second season.
Yeah. Probably after the strike they'll announce it.
Absolutely after the strike, and hopefully they will be paid what they're owed. And that's the other thing though, right? That's kind of like that's like kind of the good thing about when a show is good. It's like, oh damn, we have a potential hit on our hands, but we're holding up we're the ones holding up getting a second season getting started. So they're holding up their own success and making more money. That's what they're doing by allowing these strikes to continue. But yes, the preacher was just another character that they're using to tease, because he was like a minor thorn in John's side for his car Evelyn. Before John had Roadkill in this show, he had a car named Evelyn, and actually that origin of why he loves that car so much is actually really sweet. Nice. I did feel kind of bad for John with what happened.
Yeah. I will say I was a bit disappointed with the preacher and the holy people, because it seemed like they were building them up to be like this, really scary, whatever cult or whatever. Whenever they talk about them, people were scared, or whenever they hear those bells going off in the distance, they're like, "Oh, go the other way! Don't mess with them." And then when we actually see them, they're just these goofball cult people. And then the preacher, I'm gonna say I don't like that actor. I'm gonna be very honest with you. Whenever I see him and stuff, it's just he's that goofball caricature.
He's obnoxious.
Everything that he's in, no, he really. killed
He plays
all
the
momentum
obnoxious
from-
character perfectly, though. Like, because he is.
For people that like that stuff, yes. You know
Mm.
me with comedy. I'm very selective of
Yes.
stuff that I think is funny. He does. It just does not work for me because, like, once again, the show made it seem like it was going to go in a different direction with the holy people, and then when we actually see them, they're not really that scary. They're not really that memorable. Like, I don't know. It just kind of fell flat for me. I thought we were actually going to get some sort of like scary, like faction, whatever,
Mhm.
outside of the main stuff with Agent Stone and Raven. I thought there was just going to be like, I don't know, some sort of like their version of the. I don't know if this is a good comparison to use, but I thought this was going to be like their version of like a Tarantino over stylized KKK or something like that.
Mm.
That wasn't really like that, so I was like, okay.
I mean, I just think that like them being the holy men is. But another great like joke that happened was when Quiet like started talking to that one member of the holy.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Like, what the hell, man? Like,
Yeah, I mean, like I can kind of see what DL's saying, but like the show, the comedy definitely is like hit and miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, which I'm fine with. It's comedy, right? So it's like I'm not gonna like hate on it too much, right? Because like that's the tone of the show. It's like really weird and sometimes corny, and it lands sometimes and it doesn't. So you know, it is what it is.
I mean, yeah, that's what's just kind of weird about it, because like, yeah, there's some stuff that like the wacky, like off kilter, like tone of this, like it's a good amount of it does work, and then there's other stuff that just feels very jarring, like it doesn't really know what it wants to be. And it's like, and as far as like the world building and like the aesthetics of this show, like even me watching it, I'm like kind of confused, because like they have like this Mad Max kind of like setting, post-apocalyptic, but then like the color palette and like the humor and stuff like that makes it feel like it's a comedy at the same time. But then there's some really brutal, like intense scenes happening. There's blood and gore and whatever, and there's people cursing all over the place, and then there's like this goofy cartoon.
It feels like a video game. It feels like a video game. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
I guess so. It's like
mission accomplished.
Because you could say that about a lot of games. Like Fallout is kind of like that,
God. Yeah.
right? So I mean, the Fallout show is probably not going to be like this at all. I mean, you have Jonathan Nolan, who's the showrunner and writer on that, so that's going to be totally weird. I'm like, how is he going to balance the comedy and the dark stuff? But we'll have to see. That show's going to be. I can't wait for that show. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, so I saved him. I think we've talked about all the other characters I want to talk about. Like you kind of did mention the pacing and everything and how the writing was itself. A touch just there. Like to me, it worked. Like it just felt like it was brutal. It's insane in the best way possible. And like you said, it is like a video game. It's like a live action video game that isn't behind the shoulder. Like we're just watching all these, like, and they are all certifiably crazy in one way or another. Everyone in this show has a certain craziness about them. It's on different levels, right?
Right.
But then there's always someone at the top of that list, and this one person was so crazy he had to be split into two people. So you have Will Arnett, BoJack Horseman himself, doing the voice for Sweet Tooth, and then you have my man Samoa Joe being the embodiment of Sweet Tooth on screen. Perfect casting, in my opinion. What do y'all think about? What did y'all think about Sweet Tooth?
Well, it is an interesting adaptation, because it's like obviously he is very similar to the character in the game, but then he kind of isn't. But I feel like I definitely prefer the show's version of Sweet Tooth, just because it feels more refined, and it's like he is a psychopath and he's not But he's not like completely dark and like super edgy like the game. I think the game goes way too much with the character, and it's not really that fun. It's more kind of sadistic in my opinion. It's not really that fun. But yeah, and the voice too that Will Arnett did was probably the highlight of the show. He's not in the show a lot, but I can kind of understand why, right? He's not the main character. He was never going to be the main character, even though he's the face of the game.
He is a trademark character.
Yeah.
They even say it in his wiki here.
Yes,
but yeah,
but it's hard to relate to him. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know how people were expecting him to be the main character because, like, he's he's literally like the supervillain of this show. Like, how can you relate to him?
He's the wild card. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the Joker.
Exactly that. He's Pennywise. He's all that stuff. Like, all that
But in its own way, that's what I liked about the show, because he's not a total bad guy. He's still like,
he's
kind of good, but it's just he switches sides when he feels like it. Right. So, that's perfectly fine. It's interesting.
Look at how he confronted John. He was about to brutally murder him, and then the silver-haired god saved him.
Right.
I will say when I already said I didn't really like the trailers and TV spots for this. The moment I saw Sweet Tooth in that trailer, I was like, nope, this is stupid. What is going on? What? And then hearing the dialogue that Will Arnett was doing with Anthony Mackie, I'm like, oh, this is no. What is this? What are you doing?
Yeah,
this is so dumb. And then I don't know what happened. Probably just seeing it in the context of the show. You're absolutely right, Meta. He is the best character in this show. He is.
Yeah.
He is so multi-layered, I guess I would say, as far as like his personality and like, just the charisma of him. Like, yeah, he's not just like a sadistic serial killer the whole entire. I mean, he is that way, but he's not like super cynical or whatever. Like, he actually has moments of levity, and like, and you could tell, like, even though he doesn't flat out talk about his past, like, you see like glimpses of like his psyche a little bit at while he talking to other people. Like, you could tell. And also it did help that we did get a flashback with him when he was a kid, like, which when he murdered the dog, I'm like, oh my freaking god.
Yo, that was brutal. Because there was already the scene with John killing the baby seal, and that was hard to watch. I'm like, okay, it can't get worse than that. And then wait.
And then they did the dog. No. I mean, they had to pick something, because the one in the game is he kills his whole family, he kills his daughter, and it's just like, whoa, this
poison.
Fucked.
Right,
yeah.
So let me ask you this though, Braille. Since we are talking spoilers, what character does Sweet Tooth set up in this show?
So the flashback, it sets up his dad, because remember, that's not his actual dad, which I was like, oh, they're actually gonna do his dad in the show, which is, he's a kind of crazy guy too. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna do it, because in the first game, I think he's the taxi driver, and then he's the taxi driver.
Hold on, let me.
But then there's also Dark Sweet Tooth. So
wait, there's a Dark Sweet Tooth?
Yeah. So I don't know how they'll do it. I'm a little confused too, but we'll see. But
I got two questions for y'all. One, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. Why does his mask set on fire?
So that's like his trademark.
Yeah.
Is it a supernatural thing, or he actually set his thing?
It's just a trademark.
So
no, it's not a supernatural thing.
Okay, so how is he wearing that and his skull is not burning alive?
Well, it is, but like, it's just not talked about.
It's not phasing him. Like, he's
and also it's also depending on the game too, because I think in the first two games It is. His head is on fire. No. Yeah, he's just a regular clown, right?
Yeah, he's just like and he looks creepy as shit. By the way,
in the first game, he looks nothing like the Sweet Tooth that we know.
And in Twisted Metal 2, that's when he has like his hair is on fire, and he actually looks like a demon from hell.
So it's just some Michael Myers stuff. Like they won't actually explain why that's the case.
Well, so like after Twisted Metal 2, Sweet Tooth has like his hair is like it looks like it's on fire or it's a flame. It's like flame colored. Because I'm looking at like Twisted Metal 4, it looks like his head's just on fire. And then Twisted Metal Black is like when we get the version that we saw in the show where it's that classic clown mask.
Yeah, the mask.
It's literally just on fire.
Okay.
Right.
All right. I won't think too hard about it.
It's just like in the show. It's pretty much he just lights his head on fire. That's it.
Okay. And so Meta, let me also ask you this. I personally do think Will Arnett did a really good job voicing the character. Like it just fits so well. But do you think it would have still worked if they had Samoa Joe doing the voice?
What do you? I feel like someone's getting ready for Twisted Metal. It sounds like.
I guess so.
They're like, it's crazy. They're racing out here, man, on the highway. It's insane.
Oh no,
Canada.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know, because I think that definitely Samoa Joe could have done it, but what do you think? I feel like you were setting me up. But what do you?
I just wanted to know your honest thoughts about that because, I
think he could have done it, but I think like Will Arnett's voice fits the character more. Like when you see that clown mask, I can definitely see someone like Will Arnett's voice coming out of it more than Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe because I know Samoa Joe as like the badass dude, like who straight up just not outperformed, but like out. I remember when he in WWE when he was up against Brock Lesnar, he just cut promos that were vicious against Brock Lesnar.
Yes, he did.
Yo, like that's what I know Samoa Joe for. So him doing comedy would be kind of weird, but I'm not saying he can't do it because he absolutely can. He's a very funny person. But Will Arnett just fit better for me because like I know that the clip that came out of context wasn't the best, but I just love the beginning where he's like, "This is gonna be fun, machete." Like, and then like, "Oh, aren't we just a tall glass of water? Me, I'm more of a Hawaiian punch."
I'm like, "Oh my! Did he really just say that?"
I love that. I love it. I loved every bit of it.
I can't believe he just.
God, it's great. It gives off like him, the way he did the voice comes off as psychopathic. Like at moments he's like very calm, collected, and then like something triggers him, and then he goes into full rage mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what you're saying though, Braille, though, is that when he goes back to the asylum, that isn't his mom and dad in the asylum?
Okay, yeah, because I just had to look it up because I was confused. Okay, so so in the show, it's his mom and then his stepfather, right?
Yeah, and his actual dad.
Yeah, his actual dad. Yeah, the fact that they made that distinction, right? It's a stepfather. I'm like, okay, they are gonna do his dad, but also I'm seeing here that the character that I thought was his dad in the first game, no, that's I think his brother, which is the taxi driver. I have to look it up because here's the thing. Twisted Metal, like from what I've seen, the lore is not very consistent. Like someone had a timeline of all the games, but it's still like you have to fill in a lot of blanks and you have to like stretch to make it make sense.
Well, that's why they're doing their own thing with the lore because they're like, there's it's not coherent.
It's not coherent, yes.
Which makes sense because it's Twisted Metal, but
like because there's some people think that Twisted Metal Black is from the perspective of Sweet Tooth and it's just a retelling of the first game. So, but then there's different characters and there's a whole different storyline, and so that's what I mean. It's very like confusing and all over the place. So
I have been doing this for the other characters, and I will do this for here. So the wishes for Sweet Tooth, because he's been in every game.
Mm-hmm.
Twisted Metal Black. or not Twisted Metal, the original, to rescue his best friend.
Oh yeah. Jesus.
Twisted Metal 2, to become a bug in a tiny garden out in the country as a final escape from his madness. Twisted Metal 3, to eat all the ice cream and candy he wants.
I was gonna say this is because you just mentioned the front thing. Harold is in the games.
Oh my God, he is.
Yes, that was like a deep cut. I was like, wow, because I looked it up and I was like, that's insane. They put that in there. Because the thing that it was reminding me of was, do you remember the paper bag in PT?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was
another
reminding me of.
Norman Reedus thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
We're
so
seeing the Connect. We're gonna get it. The PlayStation.
Yeah, so
God.
I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Anyway, so let's see. So in Twisted Metal 4, none use previous wish to overthrow Calypso and take control of the Twisted Metal contest. Oh my God, that's Twisted Metal 4.
Yes,
Twisted
that's
Metal,
4. Yeah.
Twisted Metal Black to abate the curse inflicted on him by the preacher. And then in one, let's see, this one is claimed to have entered the contest for ice cream. Was later revealed that he wanted to drive the ice cream truck. Oh my God. And then basically in the reboot, it's to find the one who got away because he's a serial killer.
Right. I think what was that? Was that his daughter that got away?
I don't remember.
There's a lot of stuff with daughters. Like Calypso has a daughter that died, and then she's a racer, and the second game, and I don't know, man.
It's weird. Yeah, like there's a lot of shit that we're not even talking about that was set up for the second game because it's the second season. It's just there's a lot. But what I'm finding interesting is looking on his wiki. Sweet Tooth has been in so many games, in one way or another, even besides PlayStation All Stars. So like he's in Hot Shot Golf.
Hot Shot Golf. I did not know that.
Hot Shots Golf 2. He is a DLC character for Mod Nation Racers, driving as Sweet Tooth. War of the Monsters. He has an unlockable costume in that game.
Boy.
Starhawk. He makes an appearance as Starhawk if you pre-ordered the game, which now you can just anyway. He has a mask in Payday 2.
Oh man.
Of course, his car is in Rocket League. As a PlayStation exclusive, you can get his vehicle as a PlayStation exclusive. Like in Team Fortress 2. The pants
Team Fortress 2.
There's pants that you can wear for a certain character that's a reference to him.
Okay.
But yeah, like Sweet Tooth as a character, I actually can't wait to see where they go with him in the show because he did have a bit of development over the course of this season, even if we didn't see him all the time. In the second game, I know that he has like a cult, and I thought that's what they were building up to in this one. In the show, but then they all got killed by Stone, so that's kind of his motivation of going after Stone. I mean, let's be honest, everyone
just found something else. Oh my God, this is okay. I'm gonna have to do a lot more research because I'm just like browsing for him. So, Calypso is related to Sweet Tooth. He's Sweet Tooth's uncle. Yeah. So wow. I have no clue. I have all I know is that I'm like, this could actually work as a TV show. I know a lot of people are like, why would they do a Twisted Metal TV show? Now I'm like, I understand. They have so many characters that they can play with, and give them like interesting backstories and I mean, in the ending, like I said, they had Dollface, they had Axel, which Axel has the most insane vehicle in a game I've ever seen. It's just so cartoonish. It's like
Axel.
We'll what the fuck?
Okay, so DL. Axel in the game.
Give me one moment. Give me one moment.
Okay.
You're fine. But Axel as a character is so ridiculous.
Yes.
Like, and he's on the cover of the game. Like he's on the cover of Twisted Metal 2. It's just.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Saw that. Okay, so DL. Axel is a character they're setting up for season 2.
Okay.
Axel's vehicle is just him strapped into 2 giant wheels.
Yeah.
Come again?
Come again?
Beg pardon? Okay. Axel is a character. Axel is a character from the Twisted Metal series. He drives an unusual vehicle throughout the series, a mechanical waist harness, sometimes picked as a platform, connected to a pair of large tractor tires, mounted with a pair of machine guns and missile launchers.
Yeah.
Like Sweet Tooth, the vehicle Axel drives is named after himself. Unlike Sweet Tooth, he has only the name he shares with his vehicle.
Right.
I can't wait.
Now,
to
what's
see how they
interesting
do that
is
in live action.
What's interesting is, well, I can't wait to see how they do that in live action, especially with who they cast. Is it wrong that I kind of want Terry Crews to be Axel?
Oh,
Terry
man.
Crews.
That would be nice.
I could kind of see that. I could kind of see it.
Does he fit?
Kind of.
Yeah, he kind of does. Yeah.
Another good one, because I do want them to keep Axel in black. I do want them to keep Axel black.
Yeah. Well, he's probably going to be black.
Mike Coulter.
Mike Coulter.
Mike Coulter, the guy that played Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Oh,
he
yeah.
He could be a good character for this.
I do like Terry Crews though, because he is a comedic kind of actor, right? So it kind of makes sense. Yeah. And he's jacked too, right? So the guy has to be shirtless. So yeah.
All right, so like his wishes, like so for Axel, real quick, his wishes in Twisted Metal 2 are to confront his father, Twisted Metal 3 to become one with his machine, Twisted Metal Black to find his wife's murderer, and then he's not in the reboot. Damn, they kept him out of the. No wait, it says he's in the reboot, doesn't he? Hold on. Where the hell is it? Is that it? Yeah, he's not in Twisted Metal 2012. That's what I thought. Oh, but his vehicle is usable. That's funny. They kept the machine. They kept the 2 tractor tires, but yeah, you can. That's crazy. You can actually use Axel's vehicle, but you can't play as Axel. That's fucked up. Anyway, we've danced around her and we've actually mentioned her a bit, but now it's time to get to this. So, at the end of the series, we find out that Calypso is starting the Twisted Metal competition, and almost said Raven. Yeah, Raven wants John to race for her. And we see that, Sweet Tooth's a competitor, the Preacher's a competitor, but one of the other competitors is a character known as Dollface, and Dollface, I would think, is probably one of the top 3 most known characters from this series,
right?
Besides Sweet Tooth and probably either the Preacher or Calypso themselves. And it's revealed in this show, at least, that Dollface is John's sister.
Right. Which was weird.
It's really weird. But they show in the flashbacks that he did have a sister. And that's the other thing too that I love is that John didn't he does find out his past, that he doesn't care. He loved the life he had with Quiet versus the life he had with his family.
Right.
But that's going to cause some conflict for Dollface because she wants to speak to her brother about something. We don't know what.
I assume something with their parents.
Probably something with their parents.
Yeah.
Oh, she probably feels he probably is going to blame him for him leaving is why they separated or fell apart or something.
Right. I'm going to guess the dad is another character in Twisted Metal. That's my guess because remember he taught John Doe how to drive, and I'm gonna assume he technically also taught him how to fix a car because it doesn't make what he was saying. Remember, he was like, "Oh, I just with the parts." It's like, okay, that's bullshit. That's not how you fix a car, man. Like, oh, the parts just fix, so I guess it works. It's like, come on, no.
It says David Opeg Bimmy played it, but it just says his title is John's father,
right?
So. Because we don't really get his name. I just think that Dollface being John's sister is definitely. This is what we mean when they're taking the lore and making their own universe out of it. Honestly, here's my thing with how successful this series is. I would love, they did port the first 2 games to PlayStation for PS4 and 5. but I would like some type of revival of this series. At least make one new one. PlayStation, you love to remake games that aren't even that damn old to promote shit coming out. How about you bring back a series that's been dead for a decade and give it a new game?
Hey, why
Like,
not?
That's what I'm hoping. I mean, that's the rumor, right? So,
is it a rumor?
yeah, it's been a rumor. I mean, so I guess because it's a long, lengthy rumor. Where it originally was supposed to be developed by the team that did Destruction All Stars.
Yeah.
Is that the game?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And I think because that game didn't do well, the game didn't do so well, Sony shifted development and they gave it to their London studios. So we'll see. I mean, I think the reason why Twisted Metal never stayed around, like it wasn't on the PS4, right? We never got a Twisted Metal game for the PS4.
Yeah, like I said, the 2012 game is the last one we received.
Yes. And I think that was because, well, there's a lot of factors. For one, Twisted Metal is Sony's best-selling game in North America. For whatever reason, it doesn't sell anywhere else. And because of that, Sony's like pissed off at the franchise. And so they never wanted to like constantly have new Twisted Metal games, at least after, the fourth game, right? I don't know, it didn't collect with the rest of the world, right? So
why can't you sell? I just can't. Why not? Yeah. Stupid bastard.
I think David Jaffe too, it might have been David Jaffe or someone on the team said that the reason why Twisted Metal Black didn't get a sequel was because it didn't sell well in Europe, even though it sold pretty well and made their target and did everything. Sony was like, no, it didn't do well in Europe, and we can't make another game. It's gonna flop. And it's like, what the hell? Just one territory it didn't do well in, and you didn't want to make a sequel. So I'm telling you, old Sony is weird. Like,
yeah, old Sony is weird. But new Sony is
totally weird.
Some could argue that new Sony is soulless.
Sure, I agree with that one. But when you look at what old Sony was doing, they were really stupid. It's
no,
like,
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing. Like old Sony, really, really dumb. But there was a moment where a lot of things just made sense.
Like, if you want to know why PlayStation All Stars like was such a weird mess, it's because of Sony.
Yeah,
like they
were
ruined that game.
There was supposed to be a good list of DLC characters for that game.
Yes,
but after Zeus and the girl from
Gravity Rush,
they just stopped development.
Yeah, because you should look into the Dead Space. Yeah, you should look into the development history of that game. It's really weird. Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, Sony is weird.
I wish they gave that a second chance. I think a PlayStation All Stars 2 could actually be really good. I've been saying this I said this when the game was announced, to my friends at school. If anyone can combat with Nintendo with Smash, Sony has the lineup to do it. And they have the money to get good guest characters that won't make it into Smash, like Scorpion.
Yeah, they could. I mean,
but it's one of those things like you can do a PG-13 version of Scorpion. People aren't going to be happy that it's not right. But like he was in Injustice, and that was it's made by NetherRealm, same people that do Mortal Kombat, but Injustice isn't as gory as, at least in the game.
Well, I don't really think the violence is too much of a problem. I think because PlayStation All Stars was trying to have games that were associated with PlayStation. Like they wanted Tomb Raider, but Crystal Dynamics was like, well, we're making the reboot and we don't want to introduce the rebooted version of the character in that game.
We don't want to introduce the old version because we're trying to move away from it.
Right. So there's a lot of confusion and stuff, but PlayStation, it's interesting. PlayStation All Stars, I didn't realize, but that was the reason why Sony is the way that they are today, is because that game kind of realized that they weren't Nintendo. Like they had popular mascots, but they weren't well known or recognized to really work in a game like that, right? And that game too is not. It looks like a Smash clone, but it's not. I'm telling you, we have to talk about that game because I did a ton of research on that game just recently, and I was like fascinated. I was like, this is the reason why we get those third-person shooter type games from PlayStation now. It's because of this.
We'll make it an episode of the actual podcast. We'll make an episode called like the messy history of All-Star PlayStation.
We should. I'm like, it's interesting. It's super interesting. But yeah, that's
here's the thing. I loved that game too. Like I was one of the only people that actually loved it because I saw what it was. It was a love letter to PlayStation's history. That's what I saw. It has every character. And like of course the two biggest ones that I was upset that never made it in, and I do. Think
I know what you're gonna say.
Guess what I'm about to say. Just guess what I'm about to say.
Crash and Spyro.
The two that kind of made the PlayStation PlayStation.
Wait a minute. Crash and Spyro is not in All-Stars?
Yeah, they're not in. It's a whole. It's because of Activision. Yeah,
that's already a failure. That's already a failure.
Also. It's because of licensing, but also at the time, Crash wasn't really a thing. Spyro had the Skylander stuff, and because of that, I think Activision didn't want to chip in.
They did not want their money train, their cash cow to be brought. But here's the thing, though: like Crash and Spyro, by that point, I'm gonna make a joke about this, but anyway, so if I had to describe Crash and Spyro's descent. And then before their revivals, Crash kind of is like a nice flow chart that points downward. Like we're gonna slowly go to the bottom. Spyro flatlined. It's like the stock market of 29, just straight up went down. Like Tomb Raider, Crash and Spyro. What'll never Nintendo will always have this over Sony now. They were able to get Cloud and Smash before Cloud could be in All-Stars, because Cloud makes sense to be an All-Stars, because Final Fantasy VII was one of the highest selling games on PS1.
Yeah, that would have made sense, but
that would have made
sense.
He's
in Smash. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, he gets put in Smash. Like, damn.
Yeah, it's if that game came out, I guess maybe or in the early PS4, I think it probably would have been better off. Maybe even like mid PS4, we would have gotten all those characters.
I know that because I do think Nathan Drake being in that makes sense. It does. He is a PlayStation icon,
right?
And you could have had Sackboy was in there, and then the third party for that game. Yeah, well, you got me convinced. We're gonna talk.
Yeah. The third party characters also don't make much sense. Well,
but they were dope.
They were cool, but they weren't PlayStation associated. Like BioShock. I don't get it. We're
gonna see a Big Daddy in Smash, bro. Come on, but
that wasn't a PlayStation associated game, so it's just like, and then they put Dante the rebooted version. It's like, what?
Okay, that confused me. Yeah, the reboot. Hold on. DL, do you know anything about PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale? Anything at all about that game?
No.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. Not right now, but
one day we have to sit down and talk about it.
Yes,
it's weird, totally weird.
And I do want to hear what you have to say about it turning PlayStation into what they are today. I'm very interested in that because that would be tragic. Actually, that would be very.
It is slightly tragic, but yeah.
Because Sean Layden, I think, still was the best CEO they had because he looked at everything big and small and loved it all equally.
Right. I think they have a lot of regrets on that game. Even is it Yoshida? I forget his name. The guy he's doing the indie stuff for PlayStation. But
Yoshida P.
Yeah. No, Yoshida P.
Yeah, something like that.
I thought Yoshida P was the guy who did Final Fantasy.
Hiei
Yoshida. I'm butchering his name. But yeah, that guy also too had a lengthy interview about this game, and he was like, "Yeah, I regret the characters and how the game turned out because it was perceived as a Smash clone, but it's not. It's not Smash though. That's the part that people kind of don't realize, and I think that's why people don't like the game too. It probably would have been better received by the public if it was Smash.
Especially in an era we have Brawlhalla and these other games that are absolutely Smash clones. I think PlayStation All Stars 2 could be something beneficial, especially now that they also have a more heightened sense of IP with characters like Jin from Ghost of Tsushima Aloy from Horizon. Like, there's more characters you can add.
You could put Spider-Man, which would be a big deal.
I wouldn't put Spider-Man. That's like doing the Goku and Smash thing.
I think they
all the way meta.
It's hard not to associate Spider-Man with PlayStation now.
Well, that's because he's like, it's a Sony thing, but I don't think that, like.
I think they should do it. I could see him on the box cover. I could see it.
Oh my god,
do it!
Yeah, they're gonna have to. If they brought it back and it was more like, not this game in particular, but if it was like kind of like Mortal Kombat versus DC, and like that 3D space, right? And it just
not be bad.
Yeah, instead of it, because the problem with that game is it looks like Smash. You think it plays like Smash, and it's not Smash. And it's like, why would you do that? Because everybody just visually sees that it's Smash. Yeah, and then you make it like kind of difficult to play. It's more of a competitive fighter than a party fighter. It's really
in an alternate. We'll put a pin in this conversation by saying this. In an alternate reality, this game is one of the games that is proudly beloved and is played constantly at Evo. In an alternate reality, not this one.
Right.
And in that same reality, Sony may have bought Evo then too, but
right. I only brought up this game because Sweet Tooth, the reason why Twisted Metal, we haven't seen that game recently is also because of that game. So
good damn.
Yeah.
Okay. We're definitely gonna talk about that in a future episode. But
Can I bring up just one thing with Dolphin?
Yes.
Before we move on.
Yes.
I'm sure I'm not the only one who thought about this. For people that don't know the game, and I'm sure you know what I'm about to say. When Dollface first showed up, you know what I thought of? You know what I thought of instantly?
What?
Tonight is the commencement of the annual purge. Like what? Who is this chick in this mask? He just walked off the set of the purge anarchy. Like what's going on?
Yeah, I see that.
I could see that. Yeah.
Here's my thing though, right? I told one of my friends about this. I said, if we had to do fan casting for who Dollface is behind the mask, it probably isn't going to be her, but I don't know why, but I would love to, DL knows who I'm. I don't know if you watch wrestling, Braille, but there's a wrestler called Bianca Belair, and I think she would do great.
Oh,
I think Bianca would do great as Dollface.
No, I think she could. I don't know how strong her acting is, but
I think it would be a great just her presence would be enough. I think that'd be great fan. I think that's great fan casting in my opinion. Also, Peacock has a deal with WWE. Go ahead and book it. Go ahead and do it.
Why
book
not?
it. But all right, that final thoughts on Twisted Metal. I'll start with our guest Dial, and then Braille, and then I'll give my final thoughts. Dial, what are your final thoughts on Twisted Metal, and what do you hope to see in the future? I guess.
This show is insane. It is kind of stupid in moments. It's psychotic, but and it sometimes looks like it has the budget of a fan film. But what?
This looked better than Lotus.
Oh damn!
You're not wrong though. But overall, I did have a good time with it. It ended up coming around by the time we got to the third or fourth episode. I'm like, okay, I'm actually fully invested now somehow. It's just like, while it's a really wacky show and it has severe tonal issues, it somehow just comes around, because it has some sort of charm that I can't really describe. All the characters are they all have in their tragic backstories, and most of them have really interesting personalities, and they work off each other really, really well. I would say this is probably one of the more unique looks at a post-apocalyptic world for sure. And I said I don't really have any attachments to the game, but now knowing that they did so many drastic changes from the game, it definitely makes the next seasons not as predictable. Like he can go in any direction, which I definitely appreciate. I thought Anthony Mackie was great. I thought, what's her name that played Quiet?
Was it Stephanie Beatrice?
Stephanie Beatrice, yeah, Stephanie Beatrice.
Stephanie Beatrice was really good. Samoa Joe / Will Arnett was excellent as Sweet Tooth. What I'm hoping overall, I think the show's pretty okay, it's pretty solid. What I'm looking forward to, I'm hoping we'll get. Looks like we are gonna get it. We're gonna get more actual action with the cars because that's what I was kind of expecting after watching the gameplay. I thought we were gonna get a little more action with the cars, and they saved all the mayhem for the last episode, which is, I guess, something that I kind of expected.
I looked at that as a teaser of what's to come. They knew to save what action because it looked like the game. It looked exactly like the game with what they did there at the end of the final episode. But that's just a taste of what is to come. That's the future of where the series is going in that final episode. It's more car mayhem.
Well, okay. Well, I'm okay with
it. Gets crazy. We can get mechs and crazy shit if this is popular.
I'm hoping to see some crazy shit like that.
When we get done here, DL, we'll show you some of the stuff with like the characters and how they look, and we'll show you Axel if you haven't already looked him up. He's peak character design right there.
All right.
I know that on your channel, DL, you give ratings. I still don't know if we're gonna do that on here, but if you had to give it one of your ratings, what would Twisted Metal get?
It'll probably be between a C+ and a B-.
Okay, that's not terrible.
Yeah. Definitely, I don't think the show is great, but yeah, I don't think like I don't think it's bad. Like it's pretty solid. Pretty solid.
Okay. All right. Braille, what are your final thoughts for Twisted Metal?
So, as someone who remember, I did not know anything about Twisted Metal. The fact that this show made me go down a rabbit hole and play Twisted Metal Black, and
the fact that Tetris also made you do the same shit when I had you review that with me.
Yes, like that just kind of shows you that I do actually. Like I might even say love this show. Like I'm like shocked. I'm just shocked. It's not The Last of Us, obviously. It's not the greatest thing ever this year for television, but it was such a welcome surprise that I'm like, if it's corny and campy, like go ahead. I'm fine with that. If it's
in a year of Secret Invasions,
yes,
and Mando season 3s,
yeah,
we have Twisted Metal.
Yeah, it's just mind blowing to me that like remember, like we don't get good video game adaptations. So the fact that this was actually good, yeah, it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe PlayStation television. I'll say television, not movies just yet. The PlayStation television has a very bright future. If they're going to do the God of War series, if they're going to do Horizon, which I'm kind of skeptical about, but we'll see. I think they should stick with television.
The Sly Cooper thing.
Yeah, maybe an animated Sly Cooper or a Demon Souls anime. Please go ahead.
So I'll say this now, because I was of course active in the conversation, but something was brought to my attention. And I'm not going to say it here, but when we go off, we're gonna have to talk because you're just saying you have high hopes for Sony.
Television
immediately. Well, for movies is watered down. Television, yes. Like I do think TV wise, they have potential. I do think that God of War being a series makes sense more than a movie. I think that Horizon, again, TV series makes sense more than a movie. But as far as like video game adaptations go, we've actually been kind of, for the past few years, getting really good adaptations outside of also just Mario and Sonic, because those are the first two obvious examples. Netflix has been cooking with Castlevania, Cuphead. They have Sonic. They have another Sonic cartoon that's actually really good. And then you have like Tetris movie, even though it's not really a video game movie like that, like Twisted Metal, it still was a good movie about the history of one of the most beloved games ever. So we've been receiving a lot of good video game content as far as like other media goes for a while now. I think at least.
Like the Detective Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu's another one. Yes,
Pikachu.
yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully Gran Turismo is good. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go
I
ahead and
hope
say
it's
this
decent.
now. If you want to join us for that deal, we're going to do a review of that as well.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Because I don't have my hopes are not that high for this movie, but we'll see. May surprise me, just like Twisted Metal did.
Hopefully. I mean, outside of PlayStation, there's Fallout, maybe Mass Effect. Maybe.
Mass Effect is possible. There's also a Dragon Age thing, Gears of War,
Yeah.
Halo Season 2.
Bioshock. I don't know about Halo, but
I don't know about Halo right now.
yeah.
Bioshock is getting a Netflix movie. Like, there's a lot of good gaming stuff on the horizon.
I haven't watched The Witcher. Y'all like The Witcher?
Oh, The Witcher. Yeah, Braille has opinions on The Witcher.
Okay.
Oh, the Cyberpunk anime, if they want to make more of that, please do.
Oh wait, shoot. What was with Arcane? Arcane.
Yeah, I never got to see Arcane, but yeah,
Very good show.
Please continue with good content.
Well,
that's what we
unfortunately,
need.
again, when we head off the air, I have some bad news to share. But for my final thoughts, yeah, this was a pleasant surprise. Honestly, this is the first live action show I've seen in months. I've just been, again, once you enter the anime rabbit hole, you don't really come out of that. You just kind of stay in and see how far you can dig. So, yeah, but Twisted Metal was fantastic. I do hope that a season 2 happens, and of course, after writers and actors are paid their fair share. But yeah, overall, I do recommend this. If you have a Peacock account, if you don't, there's the free one with commercials, which is what I have.
Get the cock.
Get the
cock.
Yeah.
Hashtag get the cock. Anyway, yeah, I do recommend giving this a watch. This is definitely a good bit of video game entertainment right here. That isn't a video game. If you want that, it's one of those things like this is a perfect example of something like if you don't want to play the games but want to experience like what the story is, kind of like you're gonna get that with this show. It doesn't follow the games verbatim because, like we said, the lore is all over the place, but it makes a pretty coherent story, all things considered. So yeah, I do highly recommend that.
And if you want a game, go beg Jim Ryan. Okay, stand outside PlayStation Studios and beg him.
Beg crying lion Ryan.
Okay, that's the next thing he's got to announce after this show. I want to see a Twisted Metal game.
I'm pleased to announce that we have sold the Twisted Metal IP to Tencent.
Oh,
dang, how messed up that would be. Jeez.
Jesus.
I just he does the stupid. No one wants to play these old games anymore.
Oh man!
Why would you make a freaking show?
He will forever be held accountable for saying that. By the way, he will forever be held accountable for that.
Oh boy.
Anyway. All right, that's going to do it for us, though. I want to thank our guest, D.Al, for coming on and talking with us about this. This was a great time. Let's if you want to see the PlayStation Cinematic Universe, give this video. I'm going to give it a...
Dude, the only PlayStation Cinematic Universe you should be doing is stuff with Sly Cooper and Crash Bandicoot and Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank.
Hey, I want an Ape Escape movie.
Oh,
come on.
Ape Escape, yes.
An Ape Escape anime would actually be better. Actually.
Oh man.
Let's be real. An Ape Escape anime fits.
Yeah, I guess it would.
It could be very, very, very expressive, very creative. But yeah, let's keep making these. Honestly, let's keep making these long dead franchises relevant again with giving them a movie or a TV show.
Yeah, why not?
I say that there's a monkey's paw effect there, and we're going to talk about that again after we go off. But yeah, I want to thank DL for joining us. Where can these fine people find you at, DL, if they haven't already?
Well, y'all can find me on the YouTubes. You check out my thing under it's I Am DL. That's the name of my channel. I talk about movies and shows and everything in the nerd and geek culture. So if y'all want to hear my crazy takes on movies and shows and whatnot, You can check me out at IamDL.
All right.
Awesome.
I recommend you go watch the Indiana Jones series. That was a lot of fun to do that with UDL and of course Ruby Ruby.
Yeah, Ruby Groovy.
Ruby Groovy. I still replay that short about Yoda.
Oh my God! You're playing
still
Yoda.
gets me.
Where is he?
Where is he? Dumbass. It gets me. Yeah, man. Again, thanks for coming on with us. And where can the folks find you at, Blinded Braille?
Not on Twitter. We're gonna run this joke into the ground
Goddamn right.
until I can find another joke.
I
You're
missed,
right.
I missed the joke. I missed the joke.
So the whole joke is basically like he got off of Twitter because he hates Elon and what he's done to the platform. So he goes, "You can find me not on X.
Oh,
You can find them on
No.
Threads."
All right,
At
find me on
Blinded
Threads. Yeah.
dang. So what is this? What is the stupidest name? Max, Peacock, or X?
All three.
Yes.
All the
Peacocks
above.
with a
The
giant
cock.
X.
The
Peacocks.
Cock X Max is going to be a service soon.
Peacock X Max. The bundle.
Yeah.
God, that sounds like a freaking enhancement.
Oh God.
Anyway,
Oh yeah, it's an add-on.
you can all right, folks. You can find. God damn it! You can find me on X at the most meta down below. You can also find me on Threads. Just look up friendly_neighborhood_meta. And of course, Friendly Neighborhood Meta is also my YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Tomorrow I'll be, well, not tomorrow. This is recording this on August 17th, but I'm currently going through Spider-Man Miles Morales. So yeah, go ahead and give that go ahead and check that out. I did a playthrough of Remastered as well. So go ahead and check that out as well. But all right, that's going to do it, everyone. Again, thank you all for joining us and watching us delve into a complete insane rant. But then again, that fits the show because Twisted Metal is absolutely insane.
Yes, it is.
With all that being said, though, again, thank you all for joining us. We'll see y'all next time. As I always say on my channel, relish the past, enjoy the present, and embrace the future. And all right, we'll see y'all next time. Peace out, everyone.
Peace.
Jello.
Jello.